We have huge changes coming to the NIL and college sports world, and that's why I'm here today to break down everything that you'll need to know. On June 6, Judge Wilkins approved a $2.8 billion settlement that finally ends the NCAA's long-standing ban on direct school payments to athletes. So starting July 1st of this year, Division I schools can directly pay athletes. But this comes with salary caps, back pay, new oversight, the reshuffling of collectives, and much, much more. So let's break down what's changing. First off, the direct payments aspect is huge. Schools can begin paying athletes directly, separate from scholarships or NIL deals. So literally, the school is going to be able to write checks to the college kids for playing sports. On top of that, you have salary caps. So each school's inaugural cap is around $20.5 million. So what that means is Ohio State or Michigan State isn't going to be able to drop $30-40 million in 1 year. They are limited to about $20.5 million. But this is expected to rise to around $33 million over the next decade. Now, if you're a college athlete of the past, you might be thinking that you're kind of left in the dust. But this isn't necessarily the case. If you were playing sports from June of 2016 to September of 2024, you'll actually be subject to receive retroactive payouts. Now, if you have any questions about what this looks like, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help guide you. On top of that, we're going to have much more governance and oversight. So there's a completely new independent college sports commission that will be enforcing rules. In addition, they're going to have what's called NIL Go, which is powered by Deloitte, and they're going to be clearing deals of anything over $600. So what that means is if you get an NIL deal valued over $600, like if you're an athlete who signs a deal worth more than $600, you must get it cleared through this program. So basically what they're trying to do is really clear out all those sketchy deals that was happening a few years ago, really cleaning up the space for college athletes going forward. All right, so now for the schools. So the role of the athletic department is really shifting. Now they're going to have to decide how to allocate their salary cap across all sports. You know, some power conferences are more likely to allocate like 70 to 75% of the salary towards football, maybe like 15% towards men's basketball. But schools have the power to rebalance this. So if you're a school that is, maybe San Diego State, who wants to really emphasize their basketball program, they might put 80% of that salary cap towards basketball. If you're a school like Ohio State or Alabama, you might be more likely to allocate more of the salary cap towards football or your more higher grossing sport. Now, institutions are also going to have to implement a payroll-like system. They're going to have tracking capabilities and really train the staff for oversight through this new commission and NIL Go program. Okay, so what does this mean for the athletes now? The most important piece of this puzzle. Well, really what it means is athletes are independent contractors. So one of their sources of income is going to be through a direct payment from the school. In addition to that, they can get payments from outside businesses. Like, let's say if a brand like Celsius or Viore wants to sponsor them, they can now get those payments, and they can also get the direct payment from the school. But the athlete is going to be responsible to pay the taxes on their income. So figuring out ways to strategize, lower their taxable income, make sure they don't run into any tax burdens in the future is essential for them to be doing. And this is exactly what I'll be able to help my college athletes that I work with guide through this whole process. Make sure they don't run into any holes, make sure they're investing for their future, and making sure that they are planning for taxes. Okay, so that's what happens to the schools and the athletes, but what's going to happen to the collectives? So if you're not familiar with what a collective is, really, it's kind of like boosters putting money towards this fund, and the collective were the people that were like brokering the deals between the college athlete and the brands, and essentially helping athletes get paid. But now that there's this new Deloitte program, there's going to be much increased scrutiny. So pretty much what they think is like 70% of the booster run deals are likely to fail through Deloitte's new fair market value test. But they expect about 90% of the corporate deals to still pass. So again, this added scrutiny, in my opinion, is for the benefit of the athletes. It's to protect them in the long run. So what happens to the collectives? Well, some might just dissolve. Their role is going to be essentially replaced by the athletic directing team and by the campuses. Others might try to shift their functions more into helping with marketing, helping with education, maybe helping them with networking, rather than just focusing on paying athletes directly. So what stays the same? What's really not going to change? Well, the first thing is NIL deals are still allowed. So if you're a college athlete that's working with a brand outside of your school, those endorsements are still allowed, and they could be great ways for you to increase your income during these playing years. But if it's over $600, you are going to be required to have that monitored through the new Deloitte service. Also, what's going to be staying the same, or where there's still some ongoing questions that remain, is around Title IX and the whole gender equality side of things. Are the football team, the men's basketball team, are they going to be ones stealing all the income? Is there going to have to be requirements where women's sports are paid the same? This is going to definitely lead to future legal and legislative battles that we'll still be trying to figure out for time to come. For now, no answers are really set here. So what's this all mean? Well, this marks one of the largest shifts in college athletics history. We're transitioning from strict amateurism to broad revenue sharing. And if you want to stay in the news with all the upcoming changes and understand what's happening in the sports business world, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the channel, where we'll be talking about all of this and more. My name is Jimmy Bishrat, the Athletes Advisor. Thanks for tuning in.